Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on The Incredibles. Now, as you know, The Incredibles was a 2004 superhero movie that was written and directed by Brad Bird, who also gave us The Iron Giant and Mission Impossible Ghost Recon. And the premise of the movie is mostly meant to have Bob Burr, who was originally a superhero called Mr. Incredible, who has a dead-end job, basically misses the old days of being a superhero due to incidents that happened, as well as lawsuits, everything else, causing people to turn against superheroes, and basically forcing every superhero to go into retirement. And you can tell that Bob pretty much misses the old days and kind of wants to relive it, which he does by doing vigilante work with his friend Frozone, voiced by Samuel Jackson. One day he's basically asked by a kind of company to help deal with a kind of Sentinel-like robot, and there are more truth to these Sentinel-like robots. Now, I would say what I like about The Incredibles, it keeps true to what the 60s comics were, as well as basically mixing a mix with Thunderbird, Captain Scarlet, the Adam West Batman cartoon, as well as coming up with some newer ideas. And one thing that I never noticed about the movie is that at the start, when superheroes were still around, it was meant to take place in the 1950s. So you kind of saw that old golden age feel, that kind of old kind of nostalgia to it. But when you go into the 60s, it kind of gives that new era where basically people feel a bit out of place, like they don't know where they're meant to be. And you can actually tell that Bob misses the old days and kind of wants to relive it. So pretty much with his family, you've got Helen, who was once the superhero Elastigirl, is kind of meant to be expecting Bob to kind of settle down and be happy with what he's got. You've basically got Violet, who pretty much is a bit shy, a bit like the outcast, and can become invisible and create force fields. You've got Dash, who's basically a speedster and kind of the more hyperactive kid. And you've got Jack, who is the infant, and basically there is more truth about him. Now, I would say what's interesting about Incredibles is that Brad Bird took a lot of inspiration from this when he was becoming a father himself, so you can tell that he does put a lot of effort into it. It's like when you basically get older, have a family, and basically settle down and have kids, because when you get older, you kind of realize the opportunities aren't always going to be there, and basically when you've got something new in your life, you're going to have to make do with it. And I actually do admit, what I do like about The Incredibles is that it basically does feel like saying, what if Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, or the Fantastic Four were mainly forced to live normal lives? And you can tell that the family do have potential to be an actual superhero team. And I actually do admit, what I do like about The Incredibles, mainly the first film, is that there's a lot of inspiration from the Fantastic Four, basically to old family sitcoms about superheroes, and I think it works well. And what's actually interesting is that the actor who played in the film Joker was originally going to be the main villain until being switched with Jason Lee. So I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. And I think what's actually interesting is that The Incredibles had a lot of promotional material. You had comic books, you had games, you basically had toys, you basically had a non-canon sequel game, and years later we got The Incredibles 2 that I did review about a year ago. And I do admit there is a little inspiration with X-Men, for example, with the kind of Omni droid kind of represents the Sentinels, as keep in mind the Sentinels were kind of a deadly robotic force. And I think there is a lot of inspiration from that. And I do admit what I do like mostly about The Incredibles is basically a premise saying it doesn't matter if the old days are gone, you've still got what you have that matters. So I do feel somewhere in The Incredibles became an incredible hit. It's enjoyable, it's classical, and definitely leaves an old nostalgia feel. So I think the movie deserves a thumbs up. Brad Bird definitely knows how to do a good film. And yeah, you actually had the two actors, the two people from the Nine Old Men to basically voice two characters, much like the Iron Giant. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.